Hey everybody, welcome back to a little bit of a different video than you're used to. This is actually Godot, which is a game engine, and you can use it to make games. It's typically used for 3D games, but I tried to. It's typically used for 2D games. I tried to make a 3D game with it, and it actually, so far, it's gone pretty good. I'm not very good at making video games. I'm just gonna say that flat out. I have a decent experience with Blender, which is good for like 3D modeling stuff, but Godot is a completely different engine, and I don't know how to code in the slightest. But I made this whole like forest area in Blender. I made it plain. I colored it green, and I put a hair modifier on it, and then I made these little trees, the individual hair follicles, they're very simple models. They're just 3 cones and a stick. And there's also this variant too, and they're just randomly placed. Some of them are a little bit more randomly placed than others. There's some that like line up in like a really weird way. And I made like a 3D character, like that little bean right there, and then I put a camera on it. And you'll notice there's something around there. I'll show you that in a second. But I can walk around. I can press WASD and I can like move my mouse. And that alone took me like 2 days, a lot of sweat, a lot of frustration, and a lot of just boredom, frankly. And I was happy with that, just walking around, that was all I needed. This is genuinely exhilarating, just to know that I was able to make a world where I was able to do this much. And I thought that was like the peak of my abilities. And then a little bit later, I saw a cool tutorial about how to make a gun that could like shoot bullets. And I didn't really follow that, so I made a frog tongue. But I'm pretty sure that this frog tongue like classifies as good enough for me. Like, I'm very happy with that. It was initially supposed to be a shovel, but then it just sort of looked like a spear, and I made it red, so I was like, you know what? Fuck it, it's frog tongue. And then this is the feature that really got me excited. It was the sprint, because I'm not sprinting right now, but I wanted to add a sprint feature, or like a dash. I wanted to dash like my favorite character from Overwatch, Genji, and he could dash in like any direction. And it's like he can move like 15 meters, like basically over to like that tree right there, like in an instant. Yeah, essentially. And I was really frustrated. I couldn't figure out how to do it. I was just running in circles. I kept running into the same error. I kept looking at the same line of code over and over and over again, and it just made me frustrated. But then, word of advice, keep at it. Just, the next day you'll find a little crack in the wall, and you can start working at that crack. I'm not advising anybody to get to work on any crack, but my point is there's always going to be like a little bit more that you can do the next day, or the next day you'll find like a new opportunity. Anyways, my point is I found a sprint tutorial video, and that one actually worked, and now I can sprint faster than I deserve. I can sprint across the entire map, and that whole big Blender asset that I brought in that was supposed to be a whole forest, I can essentially just run around that like it's not even a problem. I can run through it. It's genuinely so fun, just being able to move this fast. And this is the type of thing that I had wanted to do for so long, just to like get a physics engine and just to go crazy in it. But coding is so difficult. And just being able to do this, genuinely, it brings me so much joy. And the whole reason I made this video was essentially just to tell you, don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your ambitions. Try and work a little bit at a time. You're not gonna do everything at once, and don't forget that years add up. If you worked a little bit on something when you were like 10, but it never went anywhere, then you worked a little bit on something when you're like 20, but it never went anywhere. I want you to remember all of that information, all that knowledge, all of those experiences do compile, and they do add up. And when you're older, you're going to be able to do crazy, crazy things. You used to just be able to make like a little forest, but now you have like physics controls. Now you have a frog tongue. And when it comes to learning anything, you go bit by bit by bit. And this was just like my first breakthrough that I ever had. And I just wanted to share this happy little moment that I had. Because there's not many happy moments when it comes to trying to make a video game. It's a lot of frustration. So don't forget to be grateful for the tiny victories, like a little forest, a frog tongue, and running at the speed of sound. Anyways, that was basically it. I hope you guys enjoy and get to making something on your own.